Hi, Dan from On Top Marketing here, and today I'm going to teach you how to keep your organic traffic from Google when going live with a completely new website.
So this video is going to be really helpful for anyone in a situation like I was this past week, where you work with a web design agency on a project, they build a website, you don't have involvement until after the website's built and ready to go live, and then it's given off to you. You're sort of cleaning up after them a little bit, and it always works a lot better when you can get involved early on and get this stuff done before and set the priorities. In this occasion, what happened was the client come to a web design agency, they built the website. After they built the website, the client said, we need SEO. So they come and they asked me, well, the client didn't, the web design agency asked me, can I sort it out for them? I said, yes. So I looked into it and this is how I done it. So again, just to make this very, very, very clear, the way you want to do this is you want to manage it first and make sure that the priority is kept on keeping these pages, building out pages that are also going to be ranking for additional keywords, setting your hierarchies, all that sort of stuff. What this really, really is how to make sure that the web design agency you're working with doesn't ruin the client's SEO, the traffic they're getting. So the very first thing you want to do is get access to Search Console. And again, most web design agencies won't have this. And it's not that they're bad, it's just that they don't get it. If they did, they'd probably be SEO agencies instead. So you need to get Search Console access. Most web design agencies won't do this, but if you can get involved as early as possible, you can set this up by, as long as you've got access to their old website, you can log in and then just stick the verification code at the top. You don't have to have access to the server. If they're on something like WordPress, you can just log in, edit theme, stick the code in at the top, get it verified, and then even a couple of weeks of data is going to give you so much better information than you can get anywhere else. This Search Console is literally like the holy grail for SEOs. So get that set up, and hopefully they've already got it set up and you've got it. And then what you want to do is go to performance and then click on last 6 months, click apply, and you want to have a look down here, click on pages, and then every page in here that's getting traffic you want to recreate on the new website. Even if it's not in a top level menu or anything like that, you just want the page on there. And I'm going to show you how to do that and build it out exactly the same in a minute. But you want these pages on there because if you look at it like this, most SEOs will agree that the traffic is a ranking factor now. If you have a website that's high traffic, you're much more likely to rank for other keywords going forward when you build out more landing pages, etc. So if you're getting traffic, you do not want to lose it. It's hard to get traffic, guys, right? And you don't want to lose it when you got it. So have a look in here and figure out the pages that you need to rebuild. Now, all of these pages would need to be rebuilt if this was the project. It would be one of the most stupid things in the world to not rebuild this page for this if this was a client's website, when they're getting, in the last month that page has gotten 293 clicks. So imagine losing that. That would be devastating, right? So you first need to go through and make a list of all these, and I actually do this in Google Sheets, because you can just come up here and click export and then click Google Sheets. That will put it all into a Google Sheet for you. And then you can just go through and mark them off as green as you go once you've recreated them. Now, if you don't have Search Console access, or you set up Search Console and you only had a day's worth of data and you're worried about losing a page, which you should be, then you want to sign up to Ahrefs and go to stick your domain name in the Site Explorer. You can then come down to top pages, and if you set this to all countries, I think it's usually America by default. For me, for some reason, I'm in the UK, and for some reason it's always default to America. But if you set that to all countries and then have a look down here, you can see what Ahrefs thinks you're getting traffic to, like the pages that Ahrefs thinks you're getting traffic to. This data is usually way out. It can be okay, but with a lot of websites you find that it's massively out. So for example, Schema FAQ Generator, it's saying that we get about 9 clicks a month. If we go to here, so this is the last 28 days, Schema FAQ, so the one we looked at earlier, 293 clicks. This is saying we get about 9. So it's really quite off. This page right here, the Magento page, this is a brand new page. This isn't getting any traffic yet. I literally built this, a few weeks ago, a month ago at most. It's not yet ranking, so it's not getting traffic. However, everything else on here, so this page, this page, this page, and this page, and this page, they do all get traffic. So the top ones it's saying. So I think it's a good indication, and this is much better than doing nothing, believe me. And especially if there's any page that's getting serious traffic for a long time, it will probably be on here. So you'll want to go through here and find the pages this way if you can't go this way, but definitely prioritize the Search Console, because this is you know, going to be the most accurate data you can get. Another thing you could also do is have a look in Google Analytics and then set the filter to show just organic traffic to see what pages are getting traffic from you know, Google and Bing. That's another good way that you could find out the traffic that's coming in. I never had to do it through Ahrefs or through Analytics because I had Search Console access this week just gone on the project. So I just went through here. It was really easy to get all the data out. You know, just literally coming in here, clicking export. And something I'm not sure if I mentioned is you want to set this to about 6 months just to give yourself the most accurate data you can get. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did so you can do this on your projects going forward. I'm not going to miss any steps out here. I'm going to do as much as I can so that I can really show you guys how to do it. So we've now set this to 6 months. We're on the client website. We're in the Search Console. If we click at the top now on Export and go to Google Sheets, when this loads up, it's going to default on the Queries tab at the bottom. We want to go to Pages right here. And we want to delete the impressions, click-through rate, and position columns. And then we want to make this a little bit wider right here. And then if we just scroll down to where we start getting zeros, so here, we can actually delete everything after this, because otherwise it's going to take too long and it won't be the best use of our time to recreate all these pages. But any page that's getting traffic, we may as well keep. So what I would do from here is I'd take this page, I'd copy it, you know, copy like that, and then go to the website, paste it in, hit enter. And this one right here, as you can see, this is loading. So this is showing that the page exists. So if the page has been recreated, then we can go ahead and mark this with the green. You know, same thing again, do the exact same thing here. Okay, so we got another one that's been carried over. That's great. We mark that with a green. Now, if you imagine this page right here, if we go to this page, and even though it loads, if you imagine this was a 404, so we've come here. This is a 404 page. It's come up like this. Instead of that, it's come up with, you know, this page. So now we know that we've got to recreate that page. So if it was getting traffic, especially this much traffic from Google, it's indexed by Google, which means it will be stored in Google's cache. So if we go over to Google search and we do a search for site : and then paste in our URL, it should come up here. And then if we click on the little carrot icon here and click on cached, we can actually get the page from when it was last indexed. And this is the 24th of June. This one was last indexed. So when you look at this, you'll notice that, you know, the new site will be designed slightly different, and that may cause concern. But the reason why this web page is ranking in Google isn't because the header is designed in this way. In fact, this header's changed quite a lot over the past, you know, 6 months or so, I believe. I don't know, I've lost track of time a little bit with this lockdown, but it's changed quite a lot. This sidebar here, I only added this in a little while ago, which looks kind of broken on here. It didn't affect the traffic. The footer I added in the sitemap, it didn't affect the traffic. You know, that's not why you get more traffic. The reason this page is ranking is because of this H1 tag. It's because of the title tag. It's because of all the content. It's because of the images. That's why it gets traffic. So what you need to do is actually just recreate that part. Don't worry if the sidebar's different. Don't worry about anything like that. You just want this content back on there. And we now have all the content that we can copy, you know, straight into our new page, into our new website, I mean. So I would from here go to new and then post. And then I'd go back to this one while that's loading, right click, and then you want to do view page source. And from here, if we do a search for title, so here's our title tag. So if we copy this, and then scroll down to here, click on this, and then paste that in over the top. Now, as you can see, this is actually going over the limit a bit, but I wouldn't worry about that. I would do it anyway because that's what had worked in the past. I wouldn't change anything, okay? Then we've got the description right here, so I would copy this and go to here, paste in the meta description. And then if we go back to the source code, if we do a search for H1, so here's our H1 tag. So I'd copy that, paste that into here because this is what outputs the H1 tag. And then something that I do sometimes that really speeds things up is you can actually go into here and copy all of this code, especially if you're in WordPress. Okay, this works best in WordPress. You can copy all of this code like this. as soon as I can. So it ends right there. So this is the body, like the content of the blog post, okay? Because I noticed that because it ends with, you know, Daniel Jones. That's how the blog post ends. Let me just show you. Right here. So that's where it ends there, and it starts from this YouTube embed. So if I right click and copy that, come into here, what I can actually do to make this as quick as possible is I can click on this add custom HTML and then just paste that in there, delete that extra space out the bottom, and I'm going to save this as a draft. I actually have this page on this exact website, so this is going to be a little bit I don't know what the word is, but it's not really going to work properly, but you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit here. So if we publish that, so now we've got this video right here, we've got, you know, all the content here. You see how quick this was to pull this all in. Now, one thing I must point out actually on this is that, so all the content's gone in fine, the YouTube embed's gone in fine, the images won't go in fine because they may not be hosted on the new website anymore. So you may have to go in and download the images off of the one that Google's cached. You may have to go in and do that, or you may have to recreate them if they're not on there. Hopefully they will be though. But yeah, that's the one thing you are going to have to watch, because if you just put in because in the code where it says about the images, if it's referencing an image right here and that image isn't, you know, on the site in that way anymore, then it just won't work. You see what I mean? It just won't load up anymore. So you'll have to do that. Then the next thing after that is obviously make sure that your URL is exactly the same as the one that is in here. So if you just copy the part here, copy that, go to here, get rid of that, paste that in there, and then hit publish. Then that page should go there. As I say, this isn't. I'm going to actually have to remove this page now because I've already got the page on here. But if you do that, publish it in exactly the same place. Then when you go back in here, what you want to do is test. So if you copy that, come back to here, paste it in, paste in the URL, then you should, the page should load up. If it does, then you know that your that your page is okay now, and you can click on this, mark that one off as green. Now, the only other scenario that you're going to be in is sometimes the URL will have to change because there may have been it may have changed in terms of how pages are now laid out on the site. It may be that there's a main category and then they all come in the subcategories after, or for example, like with this, it may be that all of the blogs are now at /blog/ something. That's very possible. If that's the case, I wouldn't worry too much about getting the URL exactly the same, just because if it was developed by another company, you're going to be in a massive back and forth. It's going to go on forever, and you're probably not going to get that much benefits from it. Instead, just ask to set up a redirect from the old URL to this URL, and then you may just want to note down in here and just keep this saved inside a Google Drive folder so that you've got track of everything that's happened. You shouldn't lose too much traffic with that sort of stuff. It should be absolutely fine when Google reindexes it. But yeah, that's really the best way to go about this. As I say, the things that are important when you're recreating these pages, just to recap, is that you keep the URL the exact same if you can. If not, you need to 301 it. You need to keep your H1 tag the same. You need to keep your title tag the same. You want to keep your content the same, all of this stuff right here. And you want to keep your images the same. Other than that, don't worry about the header. Don't worry about the sidebar. Don't worry about the footer. And the only other thing is, if it was in the main menu, in an ideal world, it would go back in there. But if that's really not going to work for this specific scenario, then recreate it anyway, because that is always your best bet in keeping the traffic you've got. I hope you enjoyed this video and found something useful in here. If you did, make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more SEO tutorials. Thanks for watching.